All right, everybody, and what is up? So this is the 60-gallon marine land rebuild that I did last year, and did a short video on it, but I wanted to go ahead and show you guys how everything's been going in here. The blastos are looking lovely. Need to add a couple more to the set here. Got a couple things that I moved around. I did put back my Baby's Breath Feiyu. When I first put it in the tank, it actually started to die back, and that wasn't any fun at all. So I let the tank get some age to it, put it back in, and everything seems to be good and going well. A couple of the other corals on the side here, if I can get a good shot. We got the dendro that was in the main display. I moved it over to this tank. Got a nice big aptasia going on in the back. Get some nudies and get that all taken care of. The rock flower nems are doing great. The ones I got from the keys, which would be the one in the back here, this little green one, and this one here that's kind of folded up a bit. It's actually a green with a bit of yellow on the ring that goes around in the middle section of it, I guess you would want to call it. So that sometimes it turns a little bit brighter and sometimes it fades out, but these have been coloring out pretty well now that they've been in this tank. I do have my license to collect, so that's why I was able to get those. And where we got the massive pile of the platies here. Got this nice little Yuma. Got some Zoas going on. Now I did have a bigger collection of Zoas in here, but I have a starfish that has a taste for Zoas, so I will let him keep on doing what he's doing. He has not messed with this big colony, but the smaller chunks of like the 2-3 polyp ones, he really got a hold of those. So right now there's going to be mushrooms up here because he is not messing with the mushrooms at all. The Lobo that I got from a good friend of mine is doing pretty well right now. Shriveled up. I kind of fed everything this morning, so things are digesting food as they go. I have not done enough videos on this bubble coral. When I first got it, it was maybe a couple polyps. I wouldn't even say a couple polyps, a couple of little bubbles. It was a very small frag. It has since grown into this nice little, I'd say large golf ball size colony, and is getting bigger. So hopefully it fills out in that back corner and does what I wanted to do, which is pretty much fill into that back corner there. Here is the leather coral. I think this was the Sinulera, and it is waving around perfectly fine. If anybody has any questions, I do run carbon on this tank just to keep down on any of the coral aggression that could be going on between the euphyllias and that chunk of leather. As far as flow, I think last time I showed you guys the video, I had the MP40 in this tank. I moved that over to the frag tank now, but what is pretty much providing all the flow is just this single 1/4-inch RFG nozzle. Let me see if I can come around to this side. There we go. You guys can see there. So that's pretty much what's providing the flow in this tank and just all the water return and everything. Nothing's really changed in the sump. I was able to 3D print a holder for, what is that, the filter sock, and I use a mesh filter sock. That way I can, catch some of the larger particulates, and anything pretty much under 200 microns will make its way through. The skimmer is still the Bubble Magnus Curve 5. It fits in this chamber, and it does what I need for it to do, which is skim out any of the crap that's coming out from the corals. See if I can brighten this up for you guys here. Hang on one second. All right, there we go. Okay, so the pump on here, the return pump, is the Quiet Drive Ecotech M2. Right now, let's see what else is going on. I am dosing just 2 products Got aminos going in and off reef. And off reef, I mixed up my own because at the time off reef was out of stock, so I grabbed enough to make at least a gallon's worth of off reef. So both this tank and my frag tank both work off of off reef. Levels and everything stay pretty stable in here once I get the dosing set in, and yeah, I'm happy with it. The aminos that I'm using are, get this light to come back on, are the two little fishies, Aqua Power, and the corals are loving it and doing well. But other than that, it's a pretty simple setup. I don't run an Apex on it. I just have like a wireless power strip that I use for everything. No real testing other than salinity and alkalinity. And those I test fairly rarely. Just, you know, if there's something that just looks completely out of whack. And the only reason I was testing alkalinity at the time was just to make sure that, you know, the dosing was correct and the levels stay stable. So usually I'll probably test again if I do, you know, run out of off reef and I redo another batch of the off reef. I'll test then to make sure that, you know, the levels still are stable. But other than that, no real testing goes on with this tank. Very minimal water changes. At the most, I may do 6 gallons a month on this tank, and I let it handle the rest of its own existence. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Other than that, I just wanted to go ahead and leave you guys with this video. Let me see if I can get a top down. Give me just a moment here. All right, there we go. So pretty much have to shut the flow off and get you guys this nice top down shot of all the euphyllias in here. Right now there's just the XR15 and a set of the reef brights, as you guys can see from the reflection. That's what's lighting everything in here. So a little bit backstory on this massive, there it is. So this massive piece of euphyllia, which is, I think it's the peach frog spawn or whatever the hell name it's going by now. That was actually one head a couple of years ago, and I almost lost it. It was actually growing out a couple of heads. It had about 3 heads on it. Then it started to recede and die back. Salvaged it somehow, and now I have at least 2 huge colonies, 2 separate colonies. So we got one colony here and another colony over here, and they've been doing great. Same thing with the gold, whatever those do, the gold hammers, gold Indo, teal, whatever crazy name these people want to give it nowadays. Same thing with that. Bought a small head of that. It went through its own little trials and tribulations in a couple tanks, and it settled in perfectly fine here in this system. So there goes a nice top down shot of everything, and I will check you guys out later.